And we are live with our 70th installment of Nonsense Office Hours. GM brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us today. Please drop your GMs in the chat. My name is Alex. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Nonsense. Some people call me the token god. If you're new to our office hours, every Wednesday we do a Nonsense and Chill session where we look at Nonsense new features, we answer questions from you, and we drop the occasional alpha leak. And today we have the head of Alpha Leaks, Alberto, with us. He needs no introduction. He's been on the show a few times before, but welcome back, Alberto.
Thank you for having me once again. It's a little role reversal here. We're a night here, day over there, but it's good. It's good. It keeps you sharp.
That's great.
Because of that, we're within the Nansen jammies. You know, we're just doing the black Nansen sweatshirt.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, stay comfy.
Mine.
Beautiful.
Good.
It looks so rare. That's the thing.
Yeah. So
I had a lot of fun last week. Oh my goodness, the Lau brothers. Please, everyone, watch that.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Oh my goodness, so many people.
People.
I talked to Darren.
Squeeze everyone in?
I talked to Darren too on Telegram, and I was like, "Whoa, Darren! Like not Darren Lau, but Darren, other Nansen Darren." I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!"
Smart money, Darren.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was pretty funny because it felt like one of those TV shows where you have the expert come in to explain something.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I guess people should check that video out. It was pretty hilarious. And we had Daniel and Zach as well in the studio there. We can call it the studio, more like the office. I'm glad you liked it. Did you actually? I think Daryl had some pretty insane labeling efforts.
It was amazing watching him because he is like my speed, but he was like, "No, I'm just going to do it on office hours. I'm just going to go that fast." I'm like, "Yes!" And then people were laughing in the background how fast he was going. It was too good. They were like, "Whoa, slow down." Yeah. It's like, "Oh, no, keep going, keep going." Just you flew through like 12 things. I can't even get detail.
Yeah, I think Zach was trying to get him to slow down, but
exactly, no avail.
No prevail. So yeah.
Oh well.
No avail.
What are you gonna do?
Expression. All right, should we jump in here? I think it might be a bit early for a lot of people to, or early in Asia time for people to be hopping on. It's late in the US time, and then in Europe it's like the middle of the night. So maybe a lot of people will be watching this in the recorded version. But nonetheless, we can jump in.
Good. Let's do it. So it's just you and me. So we can leak us whatever alpha we want. So that's good. We can just leak so much.
That's right.
You want to start with NFTs? There's a lot of new things. A lot of new things coming.
That's right. So I think there's actually a lot of new things here.
So this is amazing, by the way. This I think is, I love this as a data scientist. I love this more than, this is like my favorite new nonsense feature. Because first, if you know literally nothing about NFTs, I'm going to pretend like I own a doodle. I remember when they were at 1 ETH and I was debating with my neighbor if I should buy one. And he said no. And I still talk to him, which is crazy. I shouldn't. This is a beautiful feature because one, if you don't know anything about NFTs, you can easily figure out what is the most undervalued one just from the screen right here. So do you want to talk a little bit about like kind of what these metrics mean?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, you always have to put a bit of a disclaimer on a feature like this because typically we only show straight facts in Nonsense, and this, these are predictions or estimates. So it's a bit of a paradigm shift in that sense, where we have a machine learning model which has been trained on historical data, both looking at the transactional data as well as the traits of the different NFTs, and then it learns what should the price be for any specific NFT within a collection. So the model has been trained on the individual collection, so one model per collection, let's say. And so that means it can spit out a prediction on what it thinks the price should be. So the top one you have here, it says that it thinks that should be 19 ETH, but it's currently listed at 17 ETH. and it's been on sale since 1 hour. So it was actually quite recently listed, which means, you know, if someone's in the market for a doodle, maybe that's one to check out, right?
This is the one. We're gonna go buy it right now. No, not yet.
It's tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, what was interesting when I was like first looking at this was some of the doodles were, I think I was looking at this like last week, and you know there was like some that were 20%, like what you could call on sale, but then when you looked at like penguins, they were actually all, the model was predicting them to be more expensive than they actually were. So, and I know we have a Pengu shirt right here. Yeah, you can see here, which is interesting, that you only have 4 NFTs that the model thinks are a good value versus, you know, doodles, which you have, you know, a lot more of. Kind of tells you here that this, you know,
Man, that's a Viking Pengu. Isn't that a Viking Pengu? The biggest bargain? Man, very tempted to scoop that one, isn't it? Wow. So the machine learning model is, and I did not, this is not me fudging the model, right?
Right. The feature that the most important is Viking.
Yeah. Exactly. And so this, here we go, like, or maybe change. Well, I think that estimated price might need to reload. I'm not sure actually. Oh, now it's back down. That's weird. That seems like a kind of a, oh, okay. Here you see the estimated price history. And there was a bump. Maybe someone bought, I don't know, some like Viking hat or something. And then that made the model think, hey, Viking hats are more valuable than the floor, because the green is the floor and the blue is this individual NFT. So somehow, can I actually scroll up a little bit and just look at the estimated? Yeah, actually Viking helmet is like the main, the most impactful trade. I just happen to have one here. And yeah, so anyway, I think if we go back, it's interesting. I wonder if it just cached the result from like yesterday, and this one needs to be refreshed. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Then it refreshed. That's why. Okay, that's a little bit confusing, but okay, it had a cached result, and now this guy is the most underpriced, 194. That feels like it's might be close to the floor for Pengus. I'm not sure. Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still even now, even with our updated results, there's even less of. So now our model thinks almost all of them are overvalued.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not a bad sign. That's not a good sign. So Christmas lights is the thing that's pumping up this, or at least not pumping it up, but is indicating the price. But this one looks maybe not so rare. So this, yeah, but you know, this is just kind of one more data point that you can use when you want to actually select a specific NFT, which has been, let's say, historically, you know, difficult because you have to look at the traits. Of course, you have to make up your own opinion of what you like. But this can be a good starting point to surface the signal, which is what we try to do within a collection, and find the ones that might be, you know, underpriced at the moment.
Yeah, and yeah, especially if you're going to make a big purchase like this, like you want to make sure you're getting it right, and not immediately overpay by like 2 ETH or something like that.
Yeah. There are a few other you see listings.
I spent half a day looking at this. So interesting. Actually, this just came out like a day or two ago, right?
Yeah, it just came out yesterday, I think. So these are basically OpenSea listings. I'm sure we will get other marketplaces at some point, but for now it's OpenSea listings. So you can see this. Which collection are we looking at here now?
Still on Doodles.
Doodles. Okay, cool. So you see the current listings, which can be quite useful to navigate and search through if you're in VIP, and then floor price charts historically, as well as like a kind of a histogram on current listings and the price range.
Yeah, this is great because this is kind of hard to do if you're, you know, doing this just in like a big career or something like that. But especially interesting when you look at like lower priced NFTs that you kind of see like maybe this is like 1 ETH, and then we can look at an example after this. But people are always posting these kind of charts on Twitter where there's like, you know, very low supply here, and so once it gets through, then it's going to pump up. So it's like a beautiful beautiful thing to look at.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an order book depth chart
Mm-hmm.
on one side, pretty much.
Exactly.
And then you have listings and delistings made by smart money addresses, because that's the cool thing. Like, sure, we can pull data from OpenSea and show it in a slightly different way, but when you join it with our smart money data, that's when it starts getting really interesting, right? Like when you get the labels on the addresses and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So right here, Jay Feliz knew we were going to cover our doodles, so he pulled his doodle right here. And then, yeah, this is interesting too, because like, especially I was looking at something that just minted the other day, and you can kind of get a sense of like, if there's a lot of smart money up here that, is listing at the floor, it's like a very bad sign, because, everyone wants to get out of the exit. But if you don't have a lot of smart money here, or you just have like, okay, maybe one person just looking to list, maybe that just shows you that, people aren't trying to just undercut the floor and head for the exit. So it's kind of like a good directional sign of to see like, okay, where's the price going?
That table is really cool. I have to admit, I hadn't noticed it. It's kind of like anonymous looking there on the side, but it's actually really cool. It's a nice spot.
Yeah. And then, yeah, too much data right here. So much data. And then here we just, have new listings and sales. So you can kind of see like the balance, like do more. Yeah, like exactly. What is the net flow? Like, is this going down? Is this going up over time?
And so the idea would be, if you see like a spike, you can actually see it on one of those days, like that top. It looks like there's a kind of a peak on sales as well, which makes sense, right? If a lot of people are listing, then maybe that is kind of pushing the floor down a little bit, and people will then buy them, or they're just like some of them are just accepting bids as well, maybe. So that's pretty cool. Like this listing section, you can spend a lot of time here and like click around on different collections. There was also related collections. So this one has been live for VIPs for a while, but we made it available for standard users too. And it's quite nice because you can sort of like surf through different collections through. This is showing you the most similar collections just based on holdership. So if you and I both own Pudgy Penguins and you also have an Azuki, then maybe Azuki will show up, as one of the related collections here. Of course, you do that with thousands of wallets, and then you can calculate the most related collections.
I'm guessing PixOods is going to look like a doodle, or maybe some type of something like that. Or there was just like airdrops to them, because it's like 87%.
Yeah, it does 87%. That's quite a lot. Concentration, is that the inverse? Maybe I should probably know this. Maybe that's the inverse. Like how many of them actually hold doodle?
But like maybe Yogi's here is better, because there's like the market cap. You could probably filter this too by like market cap. It's kind of like filter above like 0 to get all the spam out. So all right, so some mutant ape overlap. And
someone in the chat is asking, because we were saying that there's a lot of data on listings. Isn't it more confusing if you have too much info? And I would tend to agree. I think that is the right instinct. We have to strike the right balance. Maybe the listings section needs a bit of a prune after a while, when we can see what people actually use on it. But I don't know. I kind of like every chart. I don't think I would take any chart out, but.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what you're trying to do in the moment. Like if you are trying to like flip something, then I think this chart is going to be for you, because you want to see like, okay, like if I can sweep the floor here, and then here it's like 20% higher, maybe I just want to use this chart to see like, okay, is this a floor I want to sweep? Or if I want to get out, like let's say I'm saying like, okay, I'm going to sell it, who else is also looking to sell? Okay, if no one else smart money is looking to sell, then maybe it's like, okay, maybe I should keep holding on, or maybe I should get out. So I think it's kind of like a decision tree almost, of like, what are you trying to do that like fits the data point that you want? Because obviously if you're going to buy something just coming right here, like I would just come here and do that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the listings data is quite nice because very often if you have been using Nansen, it's kind of like you have some thoughts or some hypotheses, but then at the end of the day, you do want to check the listings as well. Like what's going to happen if you do sweep? Like how much of the floor are you actually picking up? That was kind of hard to see, but with that chart, now you can say if you buy 19 doodles, then pretty much instantly you'll have the floor go up to 18, right?
You'll instantly be poor and instantly have the floor go up to 20 ETH. Yeah, exactly. Especially like if it's a new mint and you want to see like, okay, is this something that I just want to sweep because the price is tanking? Yeah, kind of different ways to think about. I think as people look at this data more and more, I think it's kind of be saying like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go here for this for this, etc. But very nice and very, very tweetable. Take a screenshot of that and just tweet it out to the world.
People should do that. Sometimes I get questions if they're allowed to like share like a screenshot, and 100% like we encourage it, but maybe it should be clear because people think, hey, it's a paid product, so I'm not allowed to take a screenshot, but you can definitely take a screenshot.
I do it all the time, so sorry.
Yeah.
I do tag you guys though. I do say like, I think it's helpful though for people to say like, okay, data via like Nansen AI or sorry, the social media manager. Yeah, but
probably the most common reply I get, maybe not so much anymore, but I used to get was, where's that chart from? You see that a lot. Like people just posting something and it's like, where's that chart from? And then so it's a nice thing to just say up front where it comes from, the source. People appreciate that.
It's actually bad because now I know the Nansen colors, and so like right away I'm like, oh, I know where the chart's from, because I saw this chart today, and this I was like blown away by this chart.
Yeah, same. I also saw the same chart.
And what's nice about this is you could even then go to into token god mode then to X2Y2, and actually like one of our let's do it quickly because someone actually alerted me to this. One of our friends at Blockchain Capital is actually scooping up a good amount of this right now. But yeah, I think there's this interesting, like, especially with the marketplaces, there's definitely an interesting overlap here between, okay, you see this marketplace where, volume is flat, volume explodes. And so, what I'm thinking here is, okay, what is the token price doing? Because if volume is exploding and, oh no, I think or is it XYZ? This shows you how much I know. No, oh yeah, XYZ.
I think XYZ is like an unrelated token.
Is it? Okay. So, so if we go to X2Y2, you can see, okay, what is the token price doing? And like, is it taking off because of the volume? So there's definitely this interplay between, so yeah, you can see, which is interesting here, like the token is in Goblin Town, but if the volume is exploding.
Yeah.
And now, you can dive into like, okay, is there smart money accumulating, things like that? Maybe no one has seen this chart before. And
exactly. That's actually what I often think when I use notes. It's like you put in some filter and it's like, this might be the first time anyone sees this chart.
Yeah. And you can tell especially here, because if you see this like, being like 48 hours ago, you're like, oh yeah, no one, I'm the only person that knows it. But yeah, this is like really good user growth. And I think actually the CEO of X2Y2 tweeted this out. I think they tweeted this chart out. And I was like instantly like,
that's why I saw it.
And so these metrics look all very good. I mean, user transactions increasing, users increasing. I think there was a really good, like here, nothing. And then all of a sudden you get very surprised that this is where it is right now.
Can you check out the token distribution, or you can see what's happening with the buyers and sellers, the holders?
So Yeah, you've got some. Doesn't seem like anyone is doing anything interesting yet, or there's not been a lot of.
Yeah.
So maybe we're.
Have you ever used this trick where you just use the filter and you plug in like the smart money emoji?
The smart money, but yeah. Do I have it really quickly? I can get it very easily. This will lead us to another. But yeah, let me just check for that. But yeah, that was Greg did that, right? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's brilliant.
Shout out to Greg.
Yeah, for telling us that. Yeah, let me get the smart money emoji, and then we'll see if anyone's doing. And then we can look at what Daryl Lau did not label last week, but I labeled. So yeah, you can kind of copy paste this smart money emoji label, and then put it right here, and we have nothing. So we're even before the smart money.
One guy's selling. One guy's selling. Yeah,
so we are the smart money here, is what we're saying. No, that's not what we're saying. But yeah, definitely something to look into here. Fully diluted valuation, 160 million. Valium is completely falling off, but the fund completely disembarked from the fundamentals. So
this is. Did you know Chris Berniski, this placeholder investor? He wrote this book. I think it's called Crypto Assets. It's like the only book I've ever read on crypto, and he talks about the J curve with price. So the idea is like very often when you have a new coin, it will launch very high and then it just tanks for a while. But then at some point, once the product starts delivering, it recovers and you get this like J. It literally looks like a J curve, right? In the best scenario, it's kind of like disillusionment initially. You saw this with sushi, for example, right? It was like, what was it? Like something, I can't remember how much it was, but then it tanked for a while. And then it just like ran up. Of course, now, unfortunately, it's pretty much down again. But you had a very, very clear J curve. The first, say, 6 months or 12 months or something like that.
Because at one point, I think it was like in the cents, it was like 50 cents or something like that. Yeah, people farmed it to death. Yeah, I think we're going to see exactly that. Yep, here we go.
Yeah, so you see there, right? It's like starts high and then it tanks and then it just moons and goes higher than it ever was. And of course, in an ideal world, it would have kept going, which unfortunately it didn't.
And then 12 months of drama. This is what crypto drama gets you. Yeah, exactly.
But the chart we just looked at now with X2Y2, this chart, like if that trend, not the price, sorry, but the usage chart that you had on the marketplace, that one,
that's
like if this continues, that's pretty much like a J curve on kind of like initially people are excited and then sort of attention span, people stop bothering, and then hey, actually this is a useful platform, and they start shipping feature updates and whatnot. I don't know that much about X2Y2, by the way, but it's but it's that might be what you're seeing here.
Yeah, definitely good job of the team, whatever they're doing. So I want to come back to label for stables is what I'm calling it, what I'm trademarking it from last week, where there's a question last week that someone asked, like, who are the top two Synapse whales? So Synapse cross-chain product, and Daryl Lau did not identify this as 3 Hours Capital, but he essentially, as we were going through it, was, very obvious that it was 3 Hours Capital. But what was very interesting was that there was a really easy way to figure this out. And if what you can do is, so at this time last week, this just said Token Millionaire. And so we didn't know who it was. And so if you then go into Token God mode, wallet profile for Token, this wallet, which was labeled by yours truly, sorry, 3 hours, this was like OX7C, whatever. And so I think a lot of times people go to these kind of like Heavy Dex Trader these like wallets that are actually labeled. But the unwallet, like we always say that boring is interesting because if you click on this wallet and if you just go out to Etherscan, so imagine this wallet says OX7C, right? This wallet got their, sorry, did I not do that correctly? This wallet, if you go to like where they first got their ETH, you can clearly see that MXEC sent 0.007 as the first ETH transfer. What you'll notice is like for every single exchange, they just fund new wallets with like a very small amount of ETH. You can see this in Binance, Coinbase, FTX. So if someone starts a new wallet, if you want to deposit into that wallet, they need ETH to then transfer the token from the deposit wallet to that main wallet. And so what they'll do is they'll just fund trace amounts of ETH to wallet. You don't actually see it in your MEXC wallet, but it is there. You can verifiably see it on the blockchain. So this 112 days ago, they spun up this MEXC wallet, which we know is kind of MEXC. And then I like to say if you're labeled on if you're labeled 3AC in like 5 different areas, it's not really that fair. So 18 days ago, 3 hours from another wallet, right, sent 50 Furacombro in. And then what you can see is like these Insta deposits. So what you'll notice here is like external wallet sends into deposit wallet sends to main wallet. This happens like within like 20 blocks or something like that. So you instantly know this is an exchange account because you can see these like in, out, in, out. And so 18 days ago, if you still saw this was OX4AB and you saw 3 hours move it from another 3 hours account into this MEXC wallet, we can probably conclude based on Daryl laughing and 3 hours just sending directly into this deposit wallet that this is like an MEXC deposit 3 hours capital wallet. So kind of like an interesting way of like if something is boring, because then when we actually clicked on this wallet here in Wallet Profiler, you can see that the only counterparty that this wallet has is MEXC and 3 arrows, and it's like MEXC1, MEXC2. So it's like a very easy way, a very easy trivia way to figure it out.
Maybe just worth adding that you can imagine a few scenarios where 3 arrows is in transacting with a counterparty, right? So it's not like you can just look at one transaction going into an exchange, boom, that means it's 3 arrows, right? So it could be an OTC desk and so on. But your argument here is that I guess that 3 arrows invested in Synapse, like first of all,
right?
That's kind of one additional data point, and then you sort of compile all the evidence, and then you get above a certain threshold where you can say we're confident enough to label this. Yeah, so you kind of have to look at it from different angles and use all the evidence that you can get.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's something, the other part of the question was like, was this airdrop to them? And there's this very cool trick that you can do. And I don't know if it's going to work here, but if they use a Synapse bridge, often there's like this, like null address to Synapse bridge to account. But if you take this transaction hash and just post it in, so Synapse has this API. I can provide a link in the Discord, but if I think this will work. No, never mind. Somewhere in this API, they have something that you can like actually check the transaction status of. And so then you can see like where it comes from and where it goes. And then you can actually see like what chain ID it is. So this was actually on Binance. So you could even like switch over to Binance, like with this wallet, and then see like, okay, where did the original transaction come from? It's very useful if people use different addresses, because you can, like, let's say I'm OX123, I can use the Synapse bridge to send from OX123 to OX456, but it doesn't show up in like Etherscan that's the case. So you can just go into the Synapse API and plug it in and like easily find like what's going on. And then from there, if you say, if you go to wallet profiler for token, then you can kind of see like where they originally got it. What happens is, let me just get this. This address was actually like one of the top receivers of Synapse from the original like airdrop. I think they did something where like you had to like, so yeah, you can see here. This was the transaction that we're talking about. So they got it on Binance, then they bridged it over to ETH. And then you can even see like, okay, well, from this airdrop distributor, who are the people that had the most amount from it? That way you kind of know like, well, are there other whales like that are farming this? So this address, I think, was like the top, I think like one of the top recipients of the original airdrop. So you kind of like know that, okay, so they were fifth. So you kind of know like, okay, like maybe this wallet is important to begin with because they were like one of the largest original recipients. So you kind of like go back in time.
That's pretty cool. It's kind of like, it's kind of hinting at this kind of multi-chain future state of blockchain explorers. I mean, because here you can somewhat awkwardly switch between the networks on the same wallet. It would be probably nice if there was a way to just have like one view of all the transactions across all the EVMs. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And then this one is funny. And I'll show you why this is funny. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I know this is like right away. And that made me like self-realize that I look at way too much data. For the people at home, if I just showed you this, would you be able to tell me who it is? So what is Dexable? So Dexable is this trading tool where like you can essentially like use limit orders and like you can route orders. You say like, okay, I want to buy like 1 million Synapse. And they'll kind of like automatically kind of like route your orders for you. And so if we wanted to see who like uses, like, let's say we wanted to try and figure out who this person was, we could just figure out, like, we could just say, okay, who uses Dexable the most? And like, who are the actual counterparties for Dexable? And the Dexable contract itself, it's the same contract that pretty much, I think they only have one contract that you interact with. And so if you go to counterparties, you can see, okay, like who are the people that are using this contract the most? Well, right away, you can see like our friends at Blocktower Capital use this the most. They actually use it, like they're the largest user of Dexable by like a lot. And what's funny is like these token millionaires are also probably Blocktower. But you can kind of see like this token millionaire right here that was using Dexable. Well,
and what token was that on? Because
this is also Synapse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's just do wallet profile for token for Blocktower. And oh, surprise! Like, does this look familiar? No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying like this is them, but
yeah, I mean, it looks there's a lot of, if it walks like a duck. But the idea is that they're depositing these funds into Dexable, and then Dexable is executing a sell, but spread out over time. Like, is that how it works? Or
yeah, exactly.
Or maybe there's some.
So you can
I haven't
see
used Dexable, so.
Yeah, so you can see like November 10th they bought November 11th they bought. And the reason why this is so ingrained in my head is because I had an alert for Block Tower for some token, and I would get an alert like every hour, like, oh, they're selling 5 tokens, 5 more. And I was just like getting so angry that I had to like take the alert off. I was like, okay, I get it, guys. But then I think if you just keep going down this list, there's like also there's like even more like Dexable buyers. So hidden.
I don't know if you noticed, but if you go to Dexable.io and you see like what our users are saying, like testimonials, Block Tower is one of the testimonials. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, Block Tower is also one of their investors. There are 3 investors listed. So, I mean, I think it checks out. The analysis checks out.
Yeah. So,
nice.
There you go. It's kind of funny. Nice. So, Dexable, I want some t-shirts from you guys. You're getting some free airtime here.
By the way, we have a question in the chat that I'll just quickly answer. Who or what is the criteria of a wallet being smart money? And does it ever get downgraded to not so smart money? And so, the criteria of smart money is basically at a high level, it's 2 things. It's either a well-known fund that generally we would consider to be smart money. So Block Tower would be an example. The other category is behavioral tax. So if you have profited a lot from flipping NFTs or yield farming, or you've harvested a lot of airdrops, those are some of the reasons why you might get tagged as smart money. So there isn't one rule, it's a collection of different rules, and you can qualify as being smart money in different ways. But generally, the way to think about it is that these are wallets that are probably worth following. And there are a few thousand of them, I think around 5,000 these days, but it slowly expands as we add more of these rules. The second part of the question, does it ever get downgraded?
It does. And I know someone who recently was downgraded.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't realize it, and I have not told them yet, but maybe they will know.
Yeah.
This video.
So an example of how you can get downgraded, there are a few different ones, right? But it's typically on these rule-based. It's not like we go in and we say, hey, they're not smart money manually and change it. It would be the algorithm that calculates how much money you made flipping NFTs. Maybe you go into a period where you start losing money on NFTs, and then you're no longer smart money because the thing that made you smart money was your profits at NFTs. Or if you're yield farming and you suddenly you're not making that much money yet. Another way you can be downgraded is sometimes we maybe use like the top 100, let's say the top 100 most profitable. And if someone else just races past you, you might get bumped out of the list. But we do have, I think it's a 7-day grace period. So if you get knocked down to the list, you still have like 7 days to make it back without losing the emoji.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Maybe this person can get back in somehow.
Yeah.
Good question though. I like it.
Yeah, maybe since we're talking about the labels, I can also shoot in some updates on new labels that we have been adding lately. And there are 3 that I can mention. The first one is Smart NFT Sweeper. So NFT sweeping is basically the act of buying a significant amount of NFTs from a single collection, typically at once. Could be because they like the art, could be because they know something is up. So smart NFT sweepers are basically those. And so you can read more about this in our documentation on Nansen.ai. We have a dedicated wallet labels and emojis guide there, but you can read more about the details. And so you can see some examples on the screen here. Thank you for that, Alberto.
Yes, I'm trying to find one. Hopefully we can.
Yeah, you did find a few there,
right? Yeah, here we go. So let's go to a buy. So I want to see someone actually sweeping.
We didn't talk about how Gem was acquired by OpenSea, by the way, since we're talking.
Oh yeah, a lot of lot of, okay, here we go. Gembuy. No, that was a Meebit. I kind of want to find one that would like they buy like 20. But yeah, that's okay. Here we go. Parallel.
Parallel.
Why not? Let's do it.
So
Yeah, I mean, why not get
sweeping
acquired?
parallel cards?
Yeah, a lot of token airdrop. People probably just went to bed crying at night. They probably still will. Just why not? Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable though. It's a small team, and they've probably done quite well for themselves, I imagine, in that deal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so here you have someone, smart NFT sweeper, just going nuts on Parallel. I was thinking about this today actually, and seeing like projects that like post reveal that dip significantly. I think the smart sweeper label there is going to be super interesting, because like, let's say you have a project that reveals and then all of a sudden tanks, but then you get like a smart sweeper come in and buy 20 of them at 70% off. I think that's interesting. I'm going to be looking out for that a lot more to see do these people actually do that. But yeah, example here of someone sweeping the floor in Parallel.
There are two more labels that we can just mention briefly. There's also a label called Airdrop Pro. And that is basically addresses that have profited significantly from airdrops. And so I don't have the exact thresholds in front of me, but in essence, you need to have multiple airdrops, and you need to have made a significant amount of money from the airdrops. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but this one can be quite interesting, because if you look at the Airdrop Pros and just see, for example, which platforms they're interacting with, which protocols they're using, that might, it doesn't always, but it might indicate that there's going to be an airdrop for those protocols, because they have a history of harvesting airdrops. So that's the rationale behind that label.
Especially if they're going to a bridge or something like that. That way, you definitely want to, like, if this person was all of a sudden bridging to Arbitrum, I'd very watch closely what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So it might be an idea to set up like smart alerts for a few Airdrop Pros. One smart alert that I really want is, I think I shared it with you, the approval smart alert. So whenever someone approves the token to be used by some smart contract, and that would be pretty helpful here. Like if an Airdrop Pro approves the use of the token in a new protocol, that might be an indicator that they know something, or they've discovered a protocol that could have an airdrop. Okay, the last one is private sales investor, addresses that have on-chain evidence proving their participation in private or seed rounds. And so we focus on addresses that have received a significant amount of USD value across a number of projects.
If we can get one. Here we go. Private sale investor.
What was that? They were sending
yeah.
to KuCoin. Okay. Wow, this is pretty active. Wow,
yeah,
pretty clear time zone as well.
Yeah, sleeps for 2 hours a day. I like it. This is the true degen. This is like what I wanted to find. Beautiful.
This is like 40 plus hours degen.
Love this person. Yeah, you could go through and kind of see like, maybe they, you can kind of historically go back and see what they're doing. This person is, wow. They are.
It's pretty fun, right? Because these labels, I mean, this is how we discovered this address, right? But we've never looked at it before. So every new kind of set of labels will surface a different type of address to us that we can have a look at and learn from, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, especially like if you follow an address already and you want to go back and just see like, okay, did this person, did they get the new labels or something like that? I do that a lot with like, okay, just to see like, what kind of address am I dealing with? Am I dealing with like a total degen? Am I dealing with like, because because I may not know that. Like if I get onto someone and I'm just following them around and like, yeah, they traded Ribbon, but I don't know exactly when they did it. I'm not gonna go back and see. But if they all of a sudden now have an airdrop label, I'm like, oh, okay, that's now I kind of like reframe how I think about this person. So always go to retroactively go back.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
You want to talk about Arbitrum?
Yeah, go for it. Those were like the three main new labels I think worth being aware of. But yeah, go for it. Arbitrum.
Yeah. So Optimism airdrop today. They announced the details. I may want to check that out. Not surprisingly, people have been moving to Arbitrum. I wonder why. The Arbitrum users and is up like, oh, see, okay, here you go. Optimism Gateway. People are trying to get in.
That's funny.
The Arbitrum, I think last week Arbitrum was up like 600% or something like that. It's probably down since then, but yeah, here you go. Optimism Gateway. Trying to get that airdrop. So there you go. Ahead.
So no, at this point, there are so many chains that it almost feels like chains are the new smart contracts. Like if you think about hot contracts or something, right? You can just look at where people are moving their funds. And like Aurora is here, which is the near EVM chain, right? And you see Optimism. So you can clearly see, and there's also near Rainbow Bridge, you can clearly see that there's stuff happening on particular chains. This smart money depositors as well. I'm curious if we sort by that, what we will see near. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that maybe because of that USDN that they launched, or
that
was like 10% yields or something? I'm not sure that's like attractive enough for a lot of people, but maybe there's an additional airdrop or some incentives. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, come here like once a week, kind of see like what's going on, especially if there's like a new bridge that maybe doing like a farming opportunity or even an airdrop. The bridge is airdropping. You can kind of see, okay, who's depositing. But yeah, so Arbitrum launched, what was it, like 2 weeks ago on Nansen? 3 weeks ago now, maybe a month.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a few weeks ago.
So we kind of covered with this AVAX. Like you can, if you don't know anything about Arbitrum, you can kind of come to the entity profiler here on multi-chain, come to Arbitrum. You can kind of see, okay, what are people using, Hot Protocol, Treasure, the NFT marketplace, GMX, etc. The other interesting thing to do is you can look at where, what addresses are depositing to the actual bridge itself. So if you wanted to see like, okay, what top projects you can follow, you can go that way. But then if you want to see like what top addresses are depositing into, you can see, okay, well, what are people putting into this bridge? And so let's just see like, okay, who comes up for USDC? And if you thought for a second we were going to keep our tradition of seeing a Alameda top depositor, you were wrong. So this is a good way to see, okay, who is the top people coming into Arbitrum? So Alameda Research, they've put 50 million USDC in. Maybe we can kind of see what they're doing on Arbitrum. So you can say like, okay, maybe Wallet Profiler. What is absolutely astonishing is if you take USDT, so here you have 69 secrets. Alameda Research is the top two for USDC. If then you take USDT, right? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen here?
I'm pretty sure you're going to see Alameda again, at least.
Yes, you are correct. And 69 secrets. So I don't know what 69 secrets is, which is funny, but yeah. Once again, our friends at the Alameda Research Corporation.
I was wondering if the 69 secrets had to do with the fact that they deposited 69 million USDC.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, is that just a coincidence?
Oh, for USDC,
Yeah, they did.
Oh, interesting. That's funny. I did not even realize that. See, this would have been better if it was like 69 420. I mean,
That's
come
true.
on. Yeah. But
Maybe.
yeah, maybe.
And
But
so you see USDC, you see Tether, and then that gives you an idea of like who's pouring money into these
exactly, yeah.
different
And
chains.
and I think this was like really the only and so like people are going to Dopex as well. So you can kind of see like from two angles, like who are the biggest wallets coming into Arbitrum, and maybe you want to track them as well, right? Because if they're interacting with protocols, if they're trying to do airdrops, etc. And then so you can kind of see that what was really eye-opening to me actually was NFTs on Arbitrum. So if you actually switch to Arbitrum and then you go to NFT Paradise, you can see kind of like what NFTs are trading on Arbitrum. And so I didn't realize the ecosystem was like actually growing pretty well. It's kind of like flatlined in March and April. But you can kind of see this like in September and October, like really no volume whatsoever. And then all of a sudden it kind of like picks up and really like peaks March 28th. So yeah, this is a really good, I had never seen this data before. And it was kind of like the first person I was like, wow, maybe I'm seeing it for the first time. Really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, I think it looks like the secondary activity is picking up on Treasure, right? That's the marketplace.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's, and then initially it was like mostly minting, but okay, volume in ETH is going down because possibly like the prices of the NFTs has been dropping. I don't know.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and like, if you're let's say you're Magic protocol, and you want to figure out like, okay, how can we like just measure user retention? I think we talked about this before, like how protocols can use Nansen. This is like really interesting to me because obviously like they have this data, but if you work for the protocol, or like if you're someone in the Discord and you want to say like, hey, maybe we should test something of making lower priced NFTs because like people are coming in to the ecosystem, but like volume is falling off. So like, why is that? Like maybe we can look at what NFTs are trending. What are people buying? What does a successful mint look like? Because I would imagine that people bridging to Arbitrum to buy an NFT probably are looking for a lower price point because they're, not going to buy a doodle for $45,000.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like use this to kind of, if you're Magic, to kind of figure out like, okay, and then you can actually, I thought this was interesting. You can then just like look at your own token and see just like general metrics around how many people are staking the token, how many people are LPing the token. So you can kind of see here, like right here, you have 64% of people staking Magic. If you actually you can actually then look at the competitors too. So I think LooksRare is like right around 62%. I don't know what X2Y2 is, but you can kind of like use it to figure out, okay, our users, what are they doing with our token? Like, are they highly engaged with it? Are they staking it? You can really do a lot to see, what your user base is doing and, and how they're kind of using the token.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually, so the staking for Magic, does that also pay out fees similar to how LooksRare does it? Do you know?
I'm not familiar, no, but I would imagine that it would do something like that.
I know there was some rumors about it. I'm not sure if it's actually happening.
I'm not sure, but yeah, you can kind of see like, okay, who are the top depositors? And so actually this is a good opportunity for like, if you really like Magic, like maybe even label these wallets, because let's say like if let's say like I'm an investor, put on the investor hat now on, and I'm saying like, okay, I come to Magic and I don't see any like smart money interacting with Magic. I may not be like it's not like pushing me to buy a Magic token. But if I come in here and I see like all these, big names that are buying Magic, I'm like, okay. So I'm not saying like, oh, everyone go label for stables, but maybe
Labels for stables.
Yeah, maybe you do. I don't know.
I mean, it's actually not a bad idea. I haven't thought about it from that perspective. But yeah, if you are a bag holder of a token, it's a good thing to show to people that there's a lot of smart money and interesting investors who have bought the same token. It just strengthens the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, it makes sense to, yeah, I like it. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then finally, we're gonna do the lightning round, which using our knowledge from before, I kind of noticed this the other day. I've owned DopeX for a while, so that's okay. It's a full disclosure. But if you come to token distribution, and I sometimes I just randomly visit coins, just like for the fun of it. I know that sounds weird, but you can see that someone, I don't have the address. I forgot the address, but maybe it's this one. They just kept buying DopeX using Dexable. So do you think that is?
Oh, wow. Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. Yeah. Actually, what they were doing, they were buying DopeX here, but then if you went just over to ETH, you could see like them buying Lido down. Oh yeah, okay. I think this is them. So a bunch of like transactions here. So if we just go over to ETH and see like, okay. So what they're doing is like they're breaking up their sushi swap buys. So if we just go over to ETH, I think this may be the right wallet. May not be, but then this person like had like Lido, and you just see like a bunch of Dexable buys. It's like, okay, maybe it's who we think it is. But so shout out to you, Dexable, because this was all about you.
It feels a bit like, from an on-chain data perspective, it feels a bit like Sablier as well. I remember when I started realizing that people are using Sablier for like vesting, and it's like, wow, it's like a gold mine for like finding funds, wallets, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that this person was it, but maybe this one. But anyways, yeah, you can find them out there.
Yeah. Hey, we actually have to wrap up now.
Yeah.
We're up on time, but let me first of all thank you for leaking so much alpha as always.
Thanks.
That's a wrap for today. We hope everyone at home enjoyed the discussion. If you did, please give Alberto and the Token God a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Also, you can subscribe to the Numsen YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss any alpha leaks. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week. Take care.